What's up, guys? Voiceover CJ here. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing before CJ gets in here and does his intro. Because this bike is a 2023, there is so many connections on this sucker, but the important thing is to not get overwhelmed by them and just simply do one at a time until all of a sudden you're done. We're putting together the top of the engine harness first of all, having to figure out where a lot of this routes, and in addition to all this, there's a whole dyno jet system tapped into the main harness which connects to the ECU in the front, also a map switch on the handlebar, so it can get very overwhelming at times, but the important thing is to just keep moving forward with it all. We're bringing over the full aluminum AIRBOX because we're going to install that later once we get all the wiring sorted out, but we also have handlebars to throw together as well. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back to work on the 2023 Ninja H2. Started installing the harness on top of the engine and routing all these wires, and now we're breaking out a bunch of parts that we took off previously and a full fairing kit from Amotopart. Plus these handlebars that were given to me by Mad Maxi, and like you guys know, we like to keep our originals, so the swap over process will be very easy. So let's keep assembling this H2. Now, once we installed those throttle cables onto the throttle grip on the right side handlebar, along with the controls, we're moving on to the brake master cylinder, which I connected to the brake line first of all, so it wasn't dripping fluid all over the floor. Then we situated wear mounts on the handlebar with two 5mm Allen bolts, and the bracket for the reservoir also bolts to the right side clip-on. Now, we got a little surprise for you for the lever. All right, we're making great progress on the front. We installed our throttle cables, which will tie down into the throttle body, along with our start-stop ignition switch and a mode button that runs all the way into here, and that's this connector, plus our front brake master cylinder with the reservoir, which is thankfully undamaged, and the throttle cables run above that, but this lever is all twisted up and actually broken inside of this master cylinder. So we got some brand new ASV levers for this H2. Of course, we had to go black on black with with the black lever and black dial for the clutch and the brake side. And man, these things are a work of art. And we went with the long style, not the shorty lever. You adjust the lever gap on the inside with this dial here. If you guys want some ASV levers for your bike, use code CJMedia at checkout for 15% off a set of levers from ASV. We also have a brand new push rod, which goes into the master cylinder right there. So let's install this. With that beautiful ASV lever installed, and we are now adjusting the throttle cables. This is super easy. All the adjustment is right at the top of where they mount on the clip-on. You simply just loosen or tighten with your fingers the adjustable hex, and that tightens or loosens the throttle cables, making sure there is no slop in the throttle. Now, interestingly enough, you'll see later on that the throttle is actually electronic, but there's throttle cables, which makes no sense. Well, the throttle cables actually communicate to an ECU down by the throttle body, telling it how far you have the throttle turned, and then that computer relays that information to the other throttle body, which then opens up the throttle body electronically. A very interesting design. It's a mix of electronic and wire. And now, a brief intermission with some golf featuring my dad. He lines up with his driver on this par 5. Absolutely crushed it. 3 wood from the fairway. Dead center. Pitching wedge. Puts it right next to the flag. What a shot. Right at the hole. Goes for the birdie putt. Misses by a millimeter. Par while I double bogey. Alright, back to the bike. Well, we are just about ready to throw in our new lower triple tree. We've got the trusty old ladder situation all set up to suspend the front suspension completely, allowing me to change out the forks and this lower triple tree without having any pressure on the steering stem. And before that, we threw in our new left side handlebar, completely brand new OEM from Kawasaki, along with the controls, which has the hazards, horn, controls for the LCD screen, and the lights and high beam. Along with our clutch master cylinder and the reservoir, we had to make a little repair on, and we are just waiting for our ASV lever for this clutch side. But now we're gonna drop this whole fork assembly and have these handlebar controls just hang off to the side, along with removing the front wheel, so we can swap out the bottom triple tree with the steering stem. Well, we had to figure out some way to get those new races in the frame, and it worked out. After leaving the top and bottom race in the freezer for a while, we tried to tap these in with a block of wood and a hammer, and they went in about till flush. Then using the old triple tree with the ball bearings on the bottom, we were able to flip this upside down and right side up and tap both of these races down to their resting place on that frame. Both of these races are nice and flat on both sides now, ready for that triple tree, but I messed up, which is gonna delay me, unfortunately, because I was really looking forward to putting this sucker on. But you gotta do things right the first time with these parts, and unfortunately, I only got the new lower race and ball bearings, and that slides on just fine, but forgot to order the dust shield, which is now gonna be here in a couple of days, which goes at the bottom of this piece, like you can see on the old one. And once the race and ball bearings are on, there's no way to get this lower piece off because it is pressed on. So unfortunately, I guess we're just gonna have to wait for that. But now, let's open up some fairings. Well, there you guys go, a little sneak peek of the colors to come on this Ninja H2. Now, another secret, that is not the only color we will be using for the fairings. We got two other colors that we're gonna fade all together for this complete fairing kit. I'm trying something new out with these fairings. They're custom made from Amotopart, and if you guys wanna do this to your bikes, code CJM10 for 10% off a full fairing kit. Amotopart also sells more than just fairings. They sell rear sets, radiators, air filters, you name it, they got it. We're also trying out matte colors for the first time. We've usually just gone with glossy, but as you can tell, this is a matte blue. Unfortunately, we are stuck. We can't put together the front end because we're waiting on that dust seal, which is crucial before I even put this triple tray in. So that's gonna be all for tonight, guys. We will catch you in the next one. See ya. All right, little bonus content for you guys. This windscreen is atrocious. So let's replace it. And you guys already probably know this, but we're definitely going to be going with a clear windscreen again, because as you guys know, when you're riding on the track and you're filming yourself, it makes no sense to have a dark windscreen, then you can't see anything that your camera picks up. And there we go, nice and shiny. Clear, baby. That's what we like. This previous one has seen a couple crashes already. Not my crashes, but the previous owner, when I bought this track bike from him. This bike has 7,000 miles on it, and all 7,000 are track miles. Like the top scratches on here definitely tells me this sucker has been rolled over before. Cut some zip ties, and this should just pull right out. I'm not 100% sure, but oh yeah, check this out. Easy as that, huh? A little side-by-side comparison. Old. Also, just noticed the bottom's a little bit different. Gotta swap over these rubber grommets, too, into the new piece. You know what? I just realized something. These aren't even close. So this is an 05 windscreen, but these fairings are track fairings. So do I just drill a hole right in the fairings here to accommodate for this new windscreen, or do I need to find this special windscreen? There's a MKC DOT number on here. That is so strange. This is the exact year for this bike, but this windscreen is so different. Also, never looked behind here before. We got the dash plug, just a bunch of other plugs tied up that are not plugged in. Ambient air temp sensor right there, and then just the speedometer right here with the Heel Tech transmission gear indicator. Pretty simple, man. 05s, that's where it's at. Well, bonus content didn't end up how I thought it would, but I'm still gonna keep it in here. So, see you in the next one.